easy to overlook that, but over towards ramp, he was getting all those entries done.
He
That's
was
what.
absolutely dominating.
Yeah, for sure.
Always good to see that happen. Now we are jumping into the pistol round, though. Endpoint, they have to come through strong. They have to come through roaring. Let's not forget that even if LDLC did win out the first one, they might still be favored. Well, Endpoint might still be favored to win this one out. You've got quite a bit. Oh, actually, hold that thought right there. Robin, force back already. And he'll just be heading back toward the side immediately while Crucial's the one to go down. Sixer catches him off. Huge kill right there. Robin with the USP now has only Cyril to give him any backup on this side. Sure, Thomas has come in, but Thomas can't really prevent the apartment players from rushing forward. All he can do is just spot out for arches continually.
Flash comes through. Now they're starting to make their way towards the bomb site, but with one player already aggressing towards arches, that is way too many angles for them to be holding. 3 players, though, from the Endpoint side. They have their eyes locked onto the A-bomb site. The apartments push. Couldn't come any sooner. Surreal takes down Afro. That's a 4-for-4 head-to-head match towards the A-bomb site. Haji tries to go in. Robin missing all his bullets, though, will mean that Sixer can eventually pick it up, and he follows it up with a third. Well, actually a fourth in total, which brings it down just to Mighty Max. Going for the 1 versus 3 now, has yet to get a single kill, doesn't have armor, so the aim punch will be brutal. Starts to move into the bomb site, finds one, but he doesn't have information on the rest. This is next to an impossible situation to be in. Haji, you're about to repeat, and there it is. Just gets absolutely butchered. LDLC yet again taking the pistol round.
Great stuff as well. Robin unfortunately drops the ball as well, though, because he gets the first kill, and that's all nice and that's all fine and well. But after that, when Haji's missing so many shots with a Glock in an upwards angle, you're expecting that to be an easy kill for the USB. Unfortunately, Robin doesn't quite have his wits about him, and he whiffs so many shots that it actually gives Sixer time to come in and close it out instead. Afro tagged up early on, down in mid. They are going for the full force buy with 2 Galils and an AK-47. Sorry, no, what am I saying? I'm so used to the T side having this buy after they lose the pistol round, honestly.
Yeah, it's honestly, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, the buy's all the same, but Robin will punish with the Eagle. Bomb is down, and GTs, well, they are going to be joining that bomb in on the floor. Turns out you can't retake when you're dead.
Yep, that's how the world works, apparently. You can't walk around when you're dead.
Hopefully.
I mean, if you are, then feel free to join my team, because I don't know what you've got on your computer. Just help me win tournaments, man.
Robin saved Galil might be impactful in the next round, though. You can always drop the Deagle over Crucial to Surreal. They're both very good with the Deagle. Even Mighty Max had his moments before. But Crucial and Surreal, as good as they might be with the Deagles, they were not very good in the previous map. We saw them having a terrible performance for the vast majority of their CT side. And what we're hoping for over here is that Endpoint doesn't have that replicated again. I don't mind LDLC winning, but I want them to win with Endpoint on full cylinders and LDLC just completely outskilling them, playing them out, just destroying them right there. You know, you want to see that kind of Counter-Strike. Right now, though, Endpoint, so far it seems like they've slowly been chopping their own feet apart and then complaining when they fall down.
Interesting way to put it. But yes, that does seem to be the case. Endpoint, now, of course, they still don't have much money to work off of. Thomas and Robin, they're the ones that have some degree of firepower on their hands. Lambert, though, has immediately taken out Surreal. There's an attack towards the A-bomb site, and Robin is able to pick up Lambert. LDLC quickly catching wind of what's coming their way. They'll be making their way towards the B-bomb site now. Arches control has been established, and now Endpoint are on the back foot, trying to chase after these T's. But I think with the kind of weaponry they have, the kind of utility we have on Robin's side, I don't think they'll go for this retake anytime soon. Unless they can maybe get a few Beagle kills in. If Thomas can pick something up real quick, then perhaps the retake is within question.
Oh, Afro. backs off, and that'll be that. So, Endpoint, when all said and done, they do want to go for this retake, try and get some damage in perhaps, but all they're giving is some money to Body. He's got himself 2 kills with that MAC-10, picks up an AK afterwards as well. And LDLC, the perfect situation for them, actually, where the CTs can't save their armor and deagles. And sure, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but they're going to buy anyway. The armor is still important. Speaking of armor being important, you know what isn't important on the CT side, Wild 80?
What?
Head armor.
Okay. That's a pretty straightforward answer because I generally expect something very convoluted.
No, it's just head armor. Mighty Max and Thomas going for it when they don't have a kit is really sketchy to me personally. It's just one of my pet peeves, to be perfectly honest, whenever teams do this, that they don't have a single kit, but they have head armor on their CT side. As good as it can be on some spots in Inferno, even so. Gotti now very quickly takes control of the archers, moving back to a speaking. Could be caught off by Robin, but Body's got the angle and the kill. He's been on fire today, and it seems like he's not really ready to have anyone put that out.
Endpoint, now they've already lost a player early on. LDLC, they're making their way towards the A bomb site. Crucial though, the AWP's fire rate comes back to bite him. What can you expect? It's pretty much a one and done weapon when you're getting stormed like that. Thomas and Mighty Max, they don't look like they're going to be going for a retake anytime soon. Yep, making their way towards the B bomb site now, just backing off. Holding on to the utilities, holding on to their hats, live to see another day. Especially since they did buy hats. Did buy those cute little $350 worth of hats. LDLC though, man, they look so powerful towards Vertigo. They look so powerful. I'm not sure what happened to my grammar there, but I'm just going to pretend that that never happened because I was also reading something off of my screen. But that being said, they look so powerful on Vertigo. Now, Inferno, it seems like it's starting to be on the same foot, but how long can they carry this on?
It's also an Inferno where you can see they look like they very much know how they want to deal with Endpoint. The fact that Body goes for Archer's control early on and he just stops right there means that they know Endpoint likes to rotate a little bit late over. So once they have Archer's control, they feel so comfortable taking over that A-bomb site. Body's not even aggressing forward. Body's also just hugging the left wall to make sure that anyone coming over from the railing side of B will not be able to catch them off either. So generally some really nice stuff.
That's quite a bit of utility damage for LDLC to be taking straight off the bat. But with the bomb being dropped further back, they're able to slowly take control of whatever they deem fit. They don't have to commit to anything just yet. Endpoint making sure that they get early control of Banana, but it's being contested so heavily. Endpoint haven't really been able to get anything done, and Buddy is there to secure 2. That pretty much opens the B bomb site, and now they only have 1 player to deal with. I don't think they realize that Thomas is there, though. It's very unorthodox to have 3 players so late into the B bomb site, but they're still going to be checking those angles. Thomas swings out wide, he picks up 1, looking for the second. But now his position has been given away. He's waiting for the CT retake to come in, but before that happens, he's already been put in his grave. 2 versus 4 now, and with pistols, what can you hope for? LDLC cementing their lead further. They just keep going on as Body takes another life. And there it is from Sixer as well. 5-0. Endpoint seeming like this is eventually going to be a recap of Vertigo. It even started on the T side for LDLC, who were entirely dominant. Just so little to say about what's happening to Endpoint, though. I think that little bit of the shaky form that was mentioned earlier and the player break, I truly think that might be affecting them. Generally, I don't really point at these small things, but the way they're playing, the way some shots are being missed here and there, just the discomfort we see on the Endpoint side, I can really feel that coming through.
And on the other hand, I can feel the LDLC laughing. And haha, we don't get to take the player break. Guess what? We're not going to take full advantage of that. Crucial. That's a good kill to find on the Haji at the very least. Unfortunately, the advantage isn't really maintained for too long. So that'll be that. LDLC up 5-0. Full banana control has been taken by them. A lot of utility used in the process of that, though. I'm very curious about whether or not Thomas wants to go for a retake style. I don't know if he's just checking for information, but getting up on top, very interesting positioning, actually. You don't see this very often, although it can be a very strong set of off angles.
Especially because the refrag is right there, and in the midst of checking these other angles, if your player swings out wide, it makes it that much easier to immediately get the refrag and potentially even a follow-up kill because of the off angle. Body, meanwhile, he's starting to step foot towards the B-bomb site. Smoke rolls out. The CT start to catch wind of this, but there's still an LDLC player lurking towards the A shadows. Coming in from arches. LDLC still taking things very slow, but there's only 25 seconds on the clock. This might just be too much time being granted, but look at that. Endpoint still hasn't hit it yet. They're still waiting. Thomas gets the first hit. Are they going to expect his double peak, though? Another player swings out wide, and it just comes down to Sixer. 1 versus 2. Bomb barely has any time to be planted, but it does go down. Sixer, despite that flashbang, should have it set up to be able to get the first pick. Double peak about to come through. Flashbang from the CT side means that Sixer has to deal with 2 players from the CT side. He finds one. He lands that shot. He knows the second one is there as well because he saw him crossing. He's just holding the close angle. Now he's trying to back off towards Banana before he gets shot in the back. Takes a little bit of damage, but that's so much more difficult for Robin. The nade comes out. He's waiting for Sixer to come around the corner, but he eventually gets the kill.
Oh my goodness.
LDLC playing it so well, but man, Sixer, he brought it back for them. Endpoint, despite the fact that they weren't set up for that, despite everything, Sixer, he's still... I have very little to say about that.
So the bomb is implanted for him. He has an AWP. He has to push into an M4A4. The bomb is sticking away. Robin can theoretically stick it, and he still manages to win it somehow. There is a reason why Sixer is 11-0 right now, because he has the hottest of all hot hands.
You also have to keep in mind that Endpoint were not set up to win that. They ended up getting themselves in the right position. They got the advantage off of that off angle, and still LDLC take it away. That has to be hurtful, and for an enemy player to be sitting on 0 deaths, not being eliminated a single time, is such a hurtful truth to have to live with. I mean, what can I say? Endpoint just haven't really been showing up in the second map either.
Well, LDLC sure as I have. I don't want... You know what? Actually, Vertigo, yes, Endpoint didn't show up. Inferno, I'm not even going to say that. They're not in their best of form, but this is LDLC kicking posteriors like it's like they were born to do it.
Hey LDLC, man, they might have been.
They might have been. Honestly.
The way things are looking now.
6 and... This could very feasibly just be a 7-0 right here and now. Mighty Max needs to come out huge with that CZ, but he's just come out and gone down immediately. Afro still moving in, along with Body, both the entry duo, the ragtag team of 2. What will be coming through? 50 seconds on the clock. It's ticking down. Endpoint not making a move to rotate away. And they still can't really feel safe to do that yet. Because Lambert, who's creeping in the back lines, he's also going to be trying to get them caught off. Robin smoked off next to the coffin. Going for the box shots but can't connect. Body's waiting for the peak to come through from the UMP. It will be there. Thomas finds one. But Haji immediately trades. Sixer still alive. Sixer still going. Still kicking, and Afro to shut things down even says, you know what, you can't take down Haji, let me do it for you.
The fact that Haji survived there for the longest time, even with 5 HP, I think that's a testament to Endpoint really missing those shots when it matters. There's very little to say about that. Strategically speaking, there was not much to be said except the fact that they just weren't hitting their shots in that case. Sure, didn't have the best of money, but now we finally see the gun round coming through from Endpoint. This time and time again, they don't have an economy to work off of. So what do they need to do now? Let's see if this works out in their favor. Endpoint, 3 players towards B. They're taking aggressive control of Banana, but that flashbang will mean that they don't really get out on top of that duel. Body, in fact, will able to take down Afro. Some saving grace there. As it takes down 2. Huh. Was that another team kill? I'm very confused.
Point is, it's given Endpoint a shot, and Endpoint will want to take it, but Haji comes through, gets 2, and Body keeps things very interesting as Thomas is mollied off and sent off to boarding school, saying, hey, maybe come back next time when you're ready to play. And Thomas, is he ready to play? That's the question. He has to go for this. It's a 2 versus 2. The CTs don't have a kit. The CTs don't really seem to have a chance. Sixer on the other side of that scope will come in and send them home. Endpoint have no business being on the server against this man who is 14-0.
Okay, I just want to go back to when Body TK'd Afro, and I got very confused there because I realized they're on the same team. That happened again for some reason. 2 rounds in a row, but I'll just let that fly. Okay. What a game from LDLC, though. I don't mean this map. I mean the entirety of this game so far. They've been shutting down Endpoint like it's nobody's business. So difficult to envision Endpoint coming back into this. It would be a monster of a task. At least Robin starts things off nicely. Scout in hand. He's gotten the first kill. But it's so difficult to really regard any of these openings as true openings when LDLC, time and time again, they can bring it back from the round deficit. They can, sorry, not the round deficit, the man deficit. Because they never really, I don't think they've had a single round deficit so far, have they?
No, not in this series so far. Definitely not. Sixer. He is 16-0.
Oh yeah, that's starting to look also like the scoreline in my opinion, but at the very least, Endpoint have gotten them down to 2 men here. We're slowly starting to make their way to the B bomb site. Lambert with the bomb and 100 points of health. This means that he can pretty much uncontested go to the B bomb site. Smoke rolls out as well. That grants him free entry. But Sixer is still lurking in the shadows. He knows how to play this HP to perfection. He knows that if he tries to take a head-on duel or try to help with the bomb site itself, it will be very problematic. So he's just trying to play his defense here, which is, oh, that is so unlucky. And for the first death to come that way, Sixer finally goes down, but Lambert is still alive and kicking. AK-47 in hand, 2 players so low. Crucial being the only real threat here, but of course the 3 angles
This
always
is so dangerous.
Going to be a bit of a tough call to make here. Lambert, he just needs to swing out once. He gets the how does he not get the first one?
He shot
Also,
through the fountain.
That's so unlucky.
Still, we have breaking news coming in. Sixer is indeed mortal, even if not very much, I guess. He's still 16-1. His KD isn't disturbed, so he's still good to go over there. But
You get a free life on that.
yeah, you get a free life. It's like Mario that way. You don't just lose immediately. Endpoint. They are. They're very much still in a red zone, but they keep 3 people alive at the very least. So CT side economy isn't going to be an absolute tatters. Even if you lose this one, you can probably buy. In all fairness, that's not what you were thinking on the Endpoint side. On the Endpoint side, what you're thinking is, can we somehow make this round, maybe? Flashman comes in, Body's playing anti-flash, he's ready to trade, beautifully done. And with that, they know that there are 3 players on the side of Endpoint over here on B, so that could very well be a call to start rotating back towards A. However, they will leave a lurker behind.
Endpoint want to bring it as close as possible in the half. They're already down 8-1, and things are looking very difficult. Molotov comes out, Molly first box, but that's not going to matter too much. They're playing off of Dark, they're playing off of New Box. So we'll just come down to these aim duels if they do decide to go B. If you look at the bomb, it's already making its way towards A. Smoke, appropriate timing. He was saving that for quite a bit. Flashbang rolls out though. Lambert's pushing straight through the smoke. Another smoke pops towards Arches to allow them mobility towards that angle. The way the LDLC players are positioned, though, they should be going towards A anytime soon. Crucial coming around the corner. He peeks one, but that pillar is very detrimental to his health. Takes a little bit of HP damage, but eventually goes down. Robin, meanwhile, from the pit area, chimes in for one, immediately goes down after, and the retake ensues.
2 versus 2, LDLC. They've still got Big Man Sixer alive. Endpoint creeping in from the side. It's Mighty Max to try and take the duel with the pit player soon enough, but it's Lambert who's already got 2 kills. He's more than happy to add a few more, but it's Sixer to get aggressive with the AWC. Sixer waiting for Surreal, gets the tag in, but can't finish the kill. Lambert now has to get 4. 3 on him so far. Bomb's not exactly planted for him, but he should swing out soon, and he does do so. 9th round on the board for LDLC.
You have to keep in mind that it's not just LDLC winning out in terms of strategy. It's not just that they're winning a few aim duels here and there. They're entirely dominating in terms of individual skill right now. You've seen Sixer come out huge with a few kills here and there. Lambert got that clutch down pat. Made that look so easy, and LDLC, it feels like everyone steps up exactly when they're needed. It doesn't seem like anyone's slacking, and that's what leads to a 9-1 against a powerhouse like Endpoint. Still isn't over yet, though. Very difficult to say whether or not Endpoint is already out of it because, well, they've lost the first map. They might be down 9-1, but for a team like Endpoint, it's never too late. Unless it's 15-1 and you don't have any economy on the CT side, and if someone's computer catches on fire...
I am also willing to say 13-2 is also potentially too late. 12-3 could also be potentially too late, actually, but... we'll have to wait to find out. LDLC. They need to get there first. Endpoint. They are on fairly poor money, so if they lose this one... 10-1 without any money, that's not really a very reassuring thought. Smokes come in, bodies just move past that Molotov, straight into Hove. He'll be taking the duel with Thomas. He goes down, but Afro's there for the trade. And a 4v4 with the bomb being down, this will be dicey.
The retake has to come through, though, because Endpoint can't be giving away too many rounds. Last player starting to join them for the retake. Haji's position is going to be pivotal because regardless of whether or not they can go for the retake, he will always be in the back line. He gets the first kill, and now this retake has stopped before it even starts. Haji picks up 2, misses 1, and that just leaves one player fighting for his life, who ends up picking up 2, but that's not going to matter in the long run because LDLC, yet again, they've gotten themselves on 2 digits before Endpoint can even make it past 1.
So this is where you start to see the flip side of everyone playing the same maps, where you're thinking, where traditionally the analysis is the same thing that I said, which is that, hey, Endpoint plays the same maps that LDLC does, and they're just a better team overall in terms of their ranking, in terms of the kind of caliber of opponents they're playing. Nice shot from Sixer, by the way. Just need to add that in there. And you're thinking to yourself, yeah, so, LDLC is in a pretty big disadvantage. That's true. But now you get to see what happens if Endpoint's just not having a good game and LDLC have somehow managed to put a new engine into their rickety old car and they've sent it past, whizzing past 200 miles per hour. That's how it's working right now. Endpoint, they're cranking up the gears and they're ready to go in onto the bomb side. Body sees the player. Thomas will find him and take him down. Thomas with 2, but unfortunately that is probably 3 kills too few for them to take that round away.
Yeah, again and again you see them go for the retake, but at this point, I would set out, I would go ahead and to say, okay, Endpoint potentially need to be doing this and whatnot, but in many cases you see that Endpoint are set up nicely, but regardless of that, they will end up losing those aim duels. LDLC will just play that to micro perfection. And at that point, it becomes very difficult to look at it at a macro level and go like, these are the adjustments that we need to make. Sure, there are adjustments that can be made, but when it comes down to it, it's Counter-Strike. You have to kill some players here and there.
Really? That's what I've been doing wrong?
Yeah, you're not supposed to throw smokes 99 times and hope to whittle away the HP of the opposition.
And the problem is it still doesn't work even with 99 times. You still don't get a kill.
Yeah, that's why you're priming them up just for them to be fragged by me.
Yeah.
That's what a good support player does.
$11-1 and LDLC. Oh, Molotov, very well placed. Lambert will be brought down. That's a big kill for them to find early in. Thomas is aggressing off the back of that and leads through with another one. Behind the enemy lines, though, is Robin. As he's come through with a kill on the body, Sixer will also fall, and suddenly it seems like Endpoint, they have found themselves, for at least a round.
The good thing I liked about their play there is that they're starting to take massive risks. Having Thomas push that up close towards Banana, especially when it's been so heavily contested by LDLC with the smokes, the flashes, the mollies, and just the overall firepower. Of course, that's a big risk to be taking, but when you're already down 11-1, your traditional way of playing Counter-Strike isn't working. So risks are exactly what you need to take, and that's the sort of adjustment I would have liked coming out from Endpoint a little bit early on, but maybe they thought that they were just getting steamrolled a little bit. Maybe they thought they were getting a little snowballed in the early bits of the game. But now, it's perhaps that adjustment is starting to come through. I'm still not seeing anything just yet because they're on 2 rounds, and honestly, I'm a little surprised we're not seeing a timeout. Like 5 rounds ago.
I agree with that. I think Endpoint is long overdue for a timeout. Crucial. Peeking out. Six is waiting for him to creep into his crosshair, but neither one of these offers will be presenting themselves to each other. There's been a few rounds where Body has been the first casualty. This time it's RG to go down. And with that, it is a 4 versus 5, and LDLC. And not been often that they've been in a man disadvantage because this thing happens again and again. The trade-off comes in, and here they go, over to the A side.
Body gets the opening kill towards Surreal. That just leaves one final line of defense in the form of Robin. He hasn't had the best success with his USB in this position, but let's see if he can get something done with the AK. Gets checked, gets spammed, and there it is. Afro gets the opening kill, but Mighty Max, the in-game leader, is still alive. Can he drag them across the finish line? Can he bring them to the halfway point? Seems like he might be starting to put in the case for that because he's gotten 3 kills and he gets the 4th as well. That was so nicely done individually by Mighty Max, and that is exactly what the IGL needed to do to set a precedent.
So this is one thing that I really enjoy about Mighty Max's style of play. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm a big advocate for Mighty Max to potentially be one of the next IGLs who's able to move up a notch, move into maybe a team in the top 20 list or something on those lines. Wouldn't really mind him seeing, wouldn't mind seeing him be the in-game leader of someone like Contact, for example. It's because he has the clutch factor. And we haven't seen that in this series, but Mighty Max has the clutch factor whenever his team is down, whenever he needs to pull out a 1v3, whenever he needs to do something on those lines. He knows how to play those situations to perfection. Speaking of playing situations to perfection, Afro, I've heard it's dangerous to stand in Molotov. I don't know who told me that, but someone did.
Might just be the screaming sound of the HP bar falling.
Yeah, that could be it. I might be wrong, though. Obviously he's just trying to get aggressive into Banana, trying to move past and catch a CT off guard. Unfortunately, the nade that came through meant that if you're going to the molly, you will die. Thomas will be showing them that if you're going through his crosshair, you will also die, which is a nice welcome change from what was coming in before.
With only 2 players left on the LDLC side now, seems very difficult that they'll take out this round. Thomas, though, sticks to his horses. Won't be firing too early, but eventually it is the kill being picked up by Crucial and the second by Mighty Max. Now, you said earlier that 12-3, 13-2, all of those score lines seemed a little bit too far from the realm of possibility, delving into the pool of impossibility. But is 11-4 a doable situation here?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a reason why I didn't go down further after 12-3. Because here's the thing. 11-4 on paper is not much worse than a 12-3. And I know a lot of casters will feed you the same BS that, oh, yes, but there's such a big difference in the pistol round. No, there really isn't. That's the difference between 10-5 and 11-4. A pistol round still matters like nothing else on 11-4. So the difference comes in is what Endpoint had to do to get to that 11-4. Mighty Max coming in with 4 kills, Thomas coming in with multiple kills while they're moving in. Their team had to take quite a few risks, and that's the kind of thing that brings your morale back together. And that's what I wanted to see from them. Now, a nade flies through, it's well placed, it's well timed, but that doesn't deal all that much damage. So they could still move into the site and overwhelm Afro, who is entirely on his lonesome on this B bomb site. And they're about to find that out very soon should they want to push through, but maybe they've just been scared off. Maybe they're expecting 3 players on that B bomb site, as we've got 4 over on A. So this could be a very dangerous decision to make.
Oh, LDLC, they're set up so nicely for whatever Endpoint's about to throw at them. Bomb making its way towards A. One coming through apartments, but Sixer with his position, he'll need to get a frag or 2 before they start moving in. Oh, he starts pressing W at the wrong time. He moves straight into their aim, and now he's down to 3 HP. Endpoint scrambling together to potentially find something. Mighty Max looks away from Sixer, but he still manages to find the kill. The 180 comes through. Haji gets one before he falls. Now it will be down to Lambert to hold the line. Tries to go for a kill. Gets one, immediately falls. And it comes down to Afro. Up against Thomas. The retake ensues. Bomb goes down with only 20 seconds on the clock. The library position is being looked at by Thomas. He's slowly trying to creep around the box. Tapping away with the P2000. Has knocked down after the very low HP. Just needs to get a body shot in. And he gets that done. Thomas with 3 quick kills. You said that they had that multiple kill from Thomas. You said that they had that multiple kill come through from Mighty Max, and it seems like they're still riding that hype train.
It's not even riding that hype train. It's the fact that this is where you have one player coming alive, and that's Thomas. You know, Mighty Max showed the 4 kills was very impactful, very big, but he's only on 7 kills across the board. That one player being alive is a difference maker on the T side. Thomas on the T side can very much solo carry this game. Now, the difference is also the fact that Sixer also quiets down in the process. We saw him being 14-0, I think maybe even 16-0 actually at one point. Now he's 18-7. That's a Sixer who's now, he's just no longer in the server. When you lose that hot streak of form, afterwards, you know, a lot of players will be overcompensating, they're overpeaking, they're trying to play off of lost form in a game, and they really don't know how to recognize, hey, I'm not on my S tier game anymore. I need to play like I'm having a B game. And that's a very serious risk that LDLC has. So Endpoint could be making their way back into this. LDLC, they've been fantastic so far, and I wouldn't say that Endpoint is favored to make a comeback into this whatsoever. I still think it's a very uphill battle, but they can definitely do it at this stage if their individuals are chiming in the way they have been in the past few rounds. You just need one more player other than Thomas to step up, and then everything just seems possible.
The funny thing is that if you look at Endpoint's kill distribution, oh wait, I'll get back to that in a second, because Body has picked up 2 off of 1 flashbang, and that might just be the one nail in their coffin that'll be too difficult to get off. Very difficult to crawl out of this one. They've lost 2 players, and if you look at the LDLC side, they've got armor all across the board, they've got 5 smokes, they've got a couple flashes, so they have all the setup that they need. Body spotting 1 player, tries to go for a quick pot shot, and the smoke will come through. Mighty Max around the corner, he will spot the weakness in that defense. Afro picks up an immediate kill, and that comes down to a 2-on-4. LDLC, they've made a mess out of whatever Endpoint was able to come up with. And what are you supposed to do about that? Honestly, if you're on the Endpoint side, what do you do about a Deagle coming your way for a meet and greet with your skull? There's a smoke. Surreal though, meanwhile, he's almost gotten the bomb down, but Lambert has to say an astounding no. A very firm yet polite no.
12-5, and unfortunately, Endpoint, I don't know if they could afford to have taken that no as an answer. As much as you like to say, yeah, T-side economy, haha, unbreakable and everything, early on into half, that simply isn't true. Body with a few kills coming in makes that round look very, very doable, and then the dunk comes out. Now, fortunately for the other side, they've got Deagles of their own. Can the T's capitalize off of them? Even so, LDLC trading rounds is really just good for them. So this has to be a big performance coming in for the T side to start to walk things back in.
Yeah, one thing I was mentioning earlier was that if you look at the kill distribution, it's not that far apart. Especially before this round, before the previous round where Body went absolutely ham. The kills were pretty even, but it just felt like the more impact kills were materializing on the scoreboard for LDLC. And you keep seeing that happening. Two players, though, have been lost for the LDLC side. Won't matter too much as Thomas is left all alone. The Tech 9 can be a very dangerous prospect, though. Pushes through the smoke, expecting the flank to come through, but the AK ends up overpowering him. Even if it wasn't for the AK, the M4 would have been there, and that's just 3 rounds away from the big green victory on their HLTV profiles.
I mean, I think they care less about that and care more about the fact that they can get into the semifinals of the Relog 9-5 tournament, a tournament which, might I add, has quite a few top-tier teams within the Tier 2 scene at the very least. So, you know, moving forward, moving up in the world overhead, this kind of tournament really affects a lot of the rankings. And Surreal goes down early on. Body wants to get that sweet ranking increase, get those sweet close qualifier invites to the big boy tournaments. And Haji, well, he's right there with him. Easy cleanup comes out. LDLC just aggresses onto Endpoint, takes them all down. 14-5 and LDLC. They 16-5 the first one, and there is very much that possibility open for business over here as well.
Yeah, generally we could set the conditions for what Endpoint would need to do. I've mentioned this before, but after that loss to the pistol round, after that loss just to the Deagles, everything went bleak. Now they have barely any utility to work off of. They have a Galil in the hands of the one player that is locked and loaded, and they've already lost one. One AK being removed from the server. Haji, ooh, Surreal. Very quick aggression, but Haji will still be there from the grave. The Undertaker will apparently get a player down with a Molotov.
Ooh. Afro, 2 big kills, and I mean, this is very much probably the last chance that Endpoint have. Mighty Max, he's clutched out things before. He needs to do it again over here. But the off angle over towards second orange is so hard to deal with. Mighty Max will probably be caught out. He's revealed his position completely. He's being pincered in from both sides. Lambert on the other side of the smoke. Mighty Max does take him down earlier, but Afro still too much to deal with. 15-5, Endpoint, no money, and probably no chance of doing much over here.
10 rounds in a row. Terrorist side up against the beastly form that we're watching LDLC in. I feel like those cards are already off the table. But I wouldn't. I feel like it will be a little unfair to count Endpoint out. But after some of the mistakes they made, what can I say?
Oh, Sixer. Looked like he might be able to get a shot in the middle of that, but that is not the case. He does get one later on when he's re-peeking in. And now Banana aggression will come through. Body's taken down. Afro's there to trade. 4 versus 3. Afro's still ready, but not for the UMP.
They got him to be openings.
Oh, yeah.
Utility rolls out as well. Shouldn't be too long before the bomb gets planted, but LDLC still very good contenders for making it 16-5. Smoke comes out. Crucial spotted through the smoke. Lambert doesn't quite land the spray. And what are they making their way back into? No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to say.
No. I am ready to. Don't worry. I will make the polarized statements, which is that I think Endpoint is very much out of this. But of course, any sort of effort they can make is important. They want to stay in this. They want to fight for this. They were directly invited into the quarterfinals. It would be a very embarrassing state of affairs if they just lost it outright here now. So They don't want that to happen. Sixer gets that first kill while he's backing off. LDLC, though, they're playing it safe. They know they're still on the CT side, and saving the AWP for Sixer is incredibly important. He will just run away back towards the T-side bedrooms and lay down, wait for the next round where his teammates will respawn.
Oh, I thought you were just waiting for his therapist to walk in because he laid down on the couch and whatnot, but
He's
I don't think he needs a
15-6 up,
therapist.
man. I think he's had
yeah,
all the
I feel like
RBM
Endpoint are the ones that need a therapist at the moment.
Sixer. Not quite been having the bombastic performance that we saw in the beginning of the game, but he's still been quietly fragging away. Speaking of quietly, Lambert is not quiet at all. Charges through that smoke, reminding us why the MP9's a fun gun to have on Banana, and he gets the opening kill. Ridiculous.
I really like the nade stack towards B, where they throw the initial Furia smoke, and then they have another additional smoke in the middle of Banana, because that means that if anybody tries to aggress through, it'll be that much harder for them to try to counter the one-way. That being said, they've already lost 2 players, and they'll have to worry about Lambert towards CT as well. Crucial. I don't think you'll be ready for this player that is coming through with the MP9. Very unorthodox position, because they're still thinking that they're very much in charge of this position. Surreal, meanwhile, trying to wreak a little bit of havoc here on the A-bomb site. Daryl is spotted. He gets the first flare. And Haji's position is perfect, but his aim is not. Lambert, up close and personal. MP9 doesn't work out in his favor, and it comes down to the...
Well, Afros find the first. He does know where the second player is. The smoke comes in to isolate away the pit player. Crucial. Only has 34 HP, so this could very much go either way. Flashbang as well to come through. Afros baited out the shot. He went for Cyril, but unfortunately can't win the duel. It really looked doable for a second over there.
Yeah, the awareness was on
out.
point to be able to bait out the shot with a flashbang and go for the other duel instead, because he knew there was going to be a refrag there.
LDLC, for the first time in a very long time, are sporting an eco. Full Eagles coming out, charging forward, not too much damage dealt. Crucial there to make quick work of them. Mighty Max also getting some good damage in and some good money in, as he finds 3 kills with that Act 10. Endpoint, easy enough round handed over to them.
I'm not saying anything about this team.
No one's saying anything. No one's saying anything. Not even double digits. 12. 12 is that number. LDLC, you can see the cool-offs coming in just a little bit. They are going to be half buying up again. Remember, they did win one of these before. Body came through with a few great deagle shots with the flashbang thrown by his teammate.
Look
so
at the
Endpoint
utility again.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of flashes. That's what you like to see. That's what you want to see. Now flashbang comes in, Body is taken down. Unfortunately, there was also one from the terrorist side, and Afro is left alone on this B-bomb site because of that.
Good observation from Endpoint to be expecting that push through, because Bodies tried to pull that trick on them before and succeeded. Sure, it is a pretty common play to push through the smoke with a flashbang primed over towards Coffin or over towards Dark, but still very good attention to detail from Endpoint, who are now making their way towards A.
It all comes down to Lambert. 5-7 is the gun you want to have when you're in their back lines, as he will be moving forward, but does he get checked initially? Sixer looking to make a lot of noise, looking to keep them distracted for a while. Afro as well, if he takes down Thomas, that would be huge for Lambert. Unfortunately, Lambert's already dead, actually. I lied. I wouldn't be huge for Lambert. Sixer getting 5 kills would be nice, though, but he's only good for 2. Inch by inch. Endpoint making this a respectable game at the very least, but respectable doesn't mean a win, and I am still going to be entirely hesitant before I call anything. LDLC, they just need to sneeze and left click someone's head accidentally and they could win their game. So,
and they've done that before in the form of Body popping off.
That's true. That is true. That was less of a sneeze, more of a flashbang, but that is also true.
Wait, I thought flashbangs was... Okay, you know what? We'll have to discuss this later.
Oh, great nade. Almost brought down to 42. Sixer doesn't quite land the shot, but it leaves Hardy alone. Lambert, however, at the very least does bring Mighty Max down low as well. Sixer, good flick to keep the in-game leader down and out, but he hesitates too long around balcony. It gives Crucial some time to come in from behind and get that kill. Meanwhile, Body and Afro lurking from Arches want to come in and get some action of their own. Afro is still so far away, though. This will be deadly.
Crucial. He gets shut down by Body, and now it's suddenly a doable retake. That AWP could have been crucial to stopping any potential of a retake. Now it's starting to happen. Afro from the apartments, Body towards Arches. He's looking for the head. And he pushes through the smoke. Afro gets the first kill and the second. Apartments is his for the taking, and so is the bomb defuse apparently. 16-9, LDLC are able to pull through in a very unlikely fashion.
Great stuff from LDLC at the end of the day.